everyone shouldn't start a business. If you can get $250K a year plus bonus out of W-2, you're making more than most small business owners plus less stress. Let's talk about it. First off, hi, I'm Brian. I've been the $250,000 a year corporate guy, and I quit to build my own business while traveling around the world, and that's what I've done for the last year and a half. I have perspective from both sides. So now I'm going to give you the real, and some of you may not like the answer here. I believe that you're either born an entrepreneur or you're not. I don't think entrepreneurs are created. I believe that they're unlocked. See what I did there? Because looking back at my corporate career, I always questioned everything. Even back to college and my school years, I was always like, why do we have to do it like this? Why can't we do it better? Why can't we do it this way? I always had an issue with other people's systems. I always had a high tolerance for risk. I always wanted to take things into my own hands. When I say that entrepreneurs aren't created, they're unlocked, it means that we're all square pegs trying to fit into the round holes of corporate or whatever job you're working for years and years and years until eventually you reach your breaking point. Maybe in your 20s, your 30s, your 50s. I agree with this guy that 99% of people are not meant to be entrepreneurs, which is by design, it's by default. My educated guess is if you're still watching this video up to this point, or you follow my account and podcast, you probably already feel in your gut that you are an entrepreneur. Want to quit your job, do things your own way, travel around the world, etc. I'm in Norway right now. Next question you may have is, how do you do this? Got 3 tips in closing. Number 1, create a 3-year vision about what your dream life and business would look like. Number 2, you need to build a cash and investment runway. So number 3, give me a follow. Subscribe to the pod. We teach how to do this daily.
Okay. I have been asked this question before on various podcasts and interviews and things, whether or not I think entrepreneurs are born or whether or not I think anyone can become an entrepreneur, and whether you have to feel like some internal drive to be an entrepreneur, if that's a requirement to be successful as an entrepreneur. I don't really have the answer to that. I definitely can relate to what this guy was saying. I always felt like places I worked, jobs I had, I thought, I could do this better. There's probably improvements we could make here. There's things I would do differently if I was running it. And I was never sort of the ready to fit into the just be quiet and do everything and just don't question anything. I was always questioning everything. But does that requirement exist for me to have been successful as an entrepreneur? I don't know. I think a lot of people do fall into entrepreneurship. They have a skill and various things just conspire to where people start hiring them to use that skill, and before you know it, without really meaning to, now they own a business. People are hiring them not as an employee but as a business owner, or as labor, or as a freelancer, but it turns into a business. And is that something they got because they questioned everything and didn't want to follow the rules, or is that just the way things happen? So, I don't know. I think to be successful as an entrepreneur, it definitely helps to have a plan and want to be your own boss and build your business and not just have it be an accident. But how it gets started and whether or not you need to have that desire to break out and do your own thing and always question everything, I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling about whether or not that's really required. I guess I feel like it isn't required to get into business. It may be helpful if you're wanting to start something but you don't have a skill that you're just suddenly getting hired to do. But I do agree. I think you need to have a vision. If you want to really have a successful business, you have to sit down and think about it, not just let it happen to you. I think if you're going to quit your job and launch into something, it's good to have some runway and some financial support just to keep yourself afloat, so you don't have to go back and get a job after 3 months, when if you just had a couple more months to keep going, you would have gotten to the point where you wouldn't have needed to get a job. I don't know about tip 3 though, subscribe to him. Is that really a requirement to be successful? I'm going to say probably not.